Hey, Cube owners, Filthy here. I got news for you. I have AIDS.
Yes, you do.
Oh, God. Okay, how are you doing, Aiden?
I'm doing pretty good. Life's been treating me pretty well lately, and I feel like it's been treating me especially well, because now my bone is filthy. Can't say that with a straight face.
Oh, shit. Okay, let's talk about this shitty fish. So how do you feel about, Gen 1 Magikarp?
I think Gen 1 Magikarp is a pretty solid Pokemon all around. Like, it's not gonna be the star of your team like Weedle or Kakuna, but it's gonna do its job. It's got the highest critical hit rate in Gen 1. It's also the fastest Pokemon in Gen 1. Let me plop up what Magikarp does. And along with that, its defense stat is weirdly high. What the fuck? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, look at those stats. OP.
I know, right? So, like, it comes in there, outspeeds everything, does big damage. Magikarp is the de facto revenge killer of LoL, and I think it's quite good in that role. And then, of course, is a good crit fisher too. It's basically just a better Caterpie.
Yeah, I think the best thing going for Magikarp is it's better than Caterpie and slightly better than Metapod.
I think Metapod has valid use as a late game sweeper with Harden. However, Kakuna and Weedle typically shut down that sweep due to Poison Sting, and Kakuna and Weedle are going to try to last as long as possible to prevent that Metapod sweep to happen.
You know, I think we should just give Magikarp the 4th spot this gen, because it's going to be going downhill.
Yeah, I think Magikarp has a solid B tier role in Gen 1.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's one of the 6 best Pokemon in the tier.
Absolutely. I think it's very important to be one of the 6 best Pokemon. Caterpie gets that role too. And Caterpie also gets that role in Gen 2 because we banned Sunkern, meaning that the viable Pokemon list is the exact same.
Yes, but now Magikarp has actual moves, like Bubble, Bubble and Flail. Oh god.
Bubble is so fucking strong, guys, trust. I think the main downside to Magikarp is that it can't use all the moves at once because, just like with Gen 1, a lot of its moves are restricted due to legality issues, meaning that Bubble, Flail, Splash is one of the only move sets, really. I think you can also add in Tackle, but I think the goal with this set I was making was for it to be a PP stall, was for it to PP stall all of its moves, and then go for stronger struggles. But I also don't think that was the case because I have Splash on. I don't know what I was cooking with this set. Dragon Rage seems like a solid option for certain teams. I'm gonna see if that's legal at all. Bubble and Dragon Rage are incompatible, so let me...
So we could do something like Dragon Rage and then Flail, because I learned Flail at like level 30 maybe?
Dragon Rage is just illegal the same way it is in Gen 1.
Oh. So can't cook with that.
Yeah, which sucks, because honestly it seems interesting. It gets Reversal too, which would be useful in other metagames, maybe, even though it's Magikarp, so it wouldn't be useful. But in this metagame is bad because everything's bug type.
I mean, I could see Reversal being okay against, like, the Ditto, because you'd outspeed it and then possibly, like, KO it.
Yeah, but I think Flail just does that better. They have the same PP too, so that's not really an issue. You're not going to be running out of Flail PP if you're using Flail optimally.
Right.
I wonder if Tackle fits. Tackle is a better option before it gets chipped. Oh, shit, yeah, Tackle is legal.
Yeah, probably Tackle, then get rid of Splash.
But honestly, though, I think this version of Magikarp is a direct upgrade from Gen 1. Because you have Flail, which is an extraordinarily good move late game. Of course, it doesn't do too much against Metapod. Flail sweeps are destroyed by Kakuna and Weedle as well. So the metagame isn't particularly... The metagame's pretty hostile toward this set, but it's still an upgrade from Gen 1, so I'll put it...
Yeah, I would even put it in A tier.
Yeah, I'd say A tier works. Like, it's just a strictly better version of what it was in Gen 1. And then, of course, the main reason for that is because you can hold items too. Leftovers was banned because games would be infinite if we allowed it. So Pokemon usually just use stab items. I think Magikarp being able to hold Polka Dot Bow is quite a hefty buff to it as well. because it's going to be getting more use out of this item than any other Pokemon in the tier with their items. Because
so I may be cooking a little bit too much, but I think maybe Berserk Gene Magikarp.
I think they would be bad personally.
That may be cooking too hard.
Yeah, it gives free setup for Metapod, but I guess Magikarp's existence gives free setup for Metapod. And then of course, if you're confused and poisoned by Kakuna and Weedle, then you're gonna be way too volatile. You're not gonna be able to last, give your team any defensive utility, which of course Magikarp isn't the defensive utility mon, it's the offensive sweeper mon. And as an offensive sweeper, I feel like it's still kind of outclassed by Metapod. So the metagame's not very kind to it, but it's a strict upgrade from Gen 1. It's belonging in A tier. I am huffing some mad copium with this one.
Alright, let's move on to Advanced, where the entire metagame is completely different.
Yep.
The rules have changed. We have abilities.
This team I built doesn't have Magikarp in it. That was obviously a mistake. Why wouldn't I have Magikarp on my team?
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you use Magikarp? I mean, it has wonderful moves like let me pull up Showdown because I have no idea. Let's see, it has Flail, Splash, and Tackle.
Wurmple may be the offensive choice band user, just a better version of Caterpie, and let's be honest, also Magikarp. But we are gonna huff some copium. Magikarp.
Yeah, that massive
Wurmple
10 base attack. That's slightly problematic.
Yeah, like you can give this thing a choice band. It'll be your best revenge killer for sure. It outspeeds everything in the tier. Choice band gives it that necessary power. Because like, let's be honest, it's not going to be able to run any other set effectively. You gotta rely on choice band. It still has flail, so it's not horrible. I think I may be huffing some mad copium here, but I do genuinely believe that the choice between Magikarp and Wurmple is personal preference. It's not like Caterpie, which is just completely power crept at this point.
Yeah, so I think probably the main difference is Magikarp will be much more defensively powerful than Wurmple.
Yeah.
Because it's not taking super effective damage from poison. Because Bug takes double damage from Poison Sting, right?
Only in Gen 1.
Oh, that's Gen 1. Okay. Still better defenses, I think. I don't know. I'm not an expert in Wurmple stats.
Yeah, I'm not an expert in Wurmple stats either. So let's plop up my other team and see what Wurmple stats are. Wurmple stats are 35 more attack than Magikarp, and honestly, it's kind of worse in every other area. So you use Wurmple as a wall breaker mainly, while you use Magikarp as a revenge killer. Of course, since the tier is completely centralized around Harden users, I'd say you can only really fit one of these. However, a late game flail sweeper doesn't sound that bad. Like if you're able to, we'll probably have to do some calcs for this, but being able to hit the pods before they start hardening sounds potentially pretty good, like as a niche that separates itself from Wurmple.
Yeah, no, I think it definitely has a spot in the lull tier. My main concern with it is the fact that it can actually get poisoned.
Yeah.
Which would you want to get low health anyway for flail, and then if you're poisoned, that really puts a timer on you.
And poison's everywhere now because Silcoon and Cascoon have just come.
But I think it's high risk, high return Magikarp, but it's definitely a downgrade from last gen.
I think it's a downgrade from first gen too, but I still think it's B tier.
Alright, let's look at Gen 4, DPP.
Okay, I do have Magikarp on this team. Yeah, I use Magikarp as a lead. This team had Burmy. Burmy is now banned. Burmy is completely fucking broken because it has Protect. Yeah, it still has no move pool, but it has Protect, and that move alone gives it so much more utility around. It beats choice item users because of Protect. It can stall with leftovers because of Protect. And with Hidden Power Flying alone, it hits everything neutrally, including Magikarp. So, yeah,
see, we have Sunkern. Sunkern was unbanned.
Yeah, Sunkern was unbanned, and theoretically, Sunkern would have a pretty bad matchup against Magikarp. Sunkern has two sets, the Stally Leech Seed set, along with the because it has Protect. So if you're running Stall Leech Seed, the Magikarp can't do anything against that. But before it sets up, your Magikarp actually has a pretty solid way of beating Chlorophyll sets because of Bounce, which is a new option it got.
Yeah, Bounce seems like a very strong move for the format, even though it's annoying that it's a 2-turn move. I'm not really seeing anything in tier that can switch into it.
Yeah, nothing in DPP switches into Bounce. And of course, Bounce isn't perfect. And of course, Magikarp still isn't perfect. You're vulnerable to Poison. You still get completely cheesed by Protect Leech Seed Sunkern, which is at this point probably going to be the main set because Magikarp exists. But outside of that, I'm really not seeing any flaws here. This is probably the best generation Magikarp's ever gonna get.
Yeah, I mean, there's just nothing there that could deal with Magikarp other than Protect Sunkern. I mean, I think we're going to give Magikarp S tier.
Yeah, a clear S tier. This will probably be the only S tier Magikarp.
Yeah, I think it's going to be going downhill from here, but let's give it up. Give it up for Magikarp.
Still has Bounce. However, Black and White adds this funny little guy called Tynamo. Tynamo surprisingly has no move pool at all, which means that it does qualify for LoL. And Tynamo destroys Magikarp. It also destroys Combee, so Combee has returned from LoL BL to become a new Pokemon in LoL, which that's exciting. Burmy was unbanned too.
Burmy even has Electro Web now.
Yeah. Burmy was mainly unbanned because Combee beats it, so yeah, Tynamo being added actually added a pretty big ripple effect of power creep in the tier.
Yeah, like, I am not liking Magikarp this gen.
Yeah, it's not like Magikarp's horror. Why do I have timid nature with max attack? What the fuck is that EV spread?
For the Hydro Pump damage.
Oh, exactly. Oh man. Yeah, the Eviolite's an item now. I don't think Magikarp abuses it too well. However, it can't run Choice Band anymore because Protect Burmy exists, and because Tynamo can switch into Bounce, meaning that Bounce isn't a free click like it used to be. It's still quite solid. Magikarp I still think is one of the staples of the tier. You're gonna be bringing it to most of your games. However, it's not required like it has been for the first for gens 3, 1, 2, and 4. So this is, in my opinion, Magikarp's worst generation so far. However, it's not like it's horrible. I'd say it's.
I think it's looking slightly better than Advance, but yeah, definitely not as good as last gen or even gens 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for more differences to spot out, because like it still hits a lot of super effectively as a late game sweeper. Magikarp is quite good. It's just that it does not have the constant pressure that it does in DPP. So that
something that may be unexplored is a choice spec set with a Hydro Pump to hit Harden Kakuna. Yeah. That may be a viable option because Magikarp's special is technically better than its attack.
Yeah, you can still use Combee and Burmy for that purpose too. However, Magikarp is struggling so much to find purpose that I think a choice spec set has potential for that role. It can also help deal with Tynamo, because Tynamo is not going to expect a Specs Hydro Pump thrown at it. So it's definitely a set with potential. It's definitely something that should be experimented with in the future of LoL metagame.
But yeah, so how are we feeling with Magikarp for Black-White? I'm thinking, yeah, definitely B tier.
It's somewhere in B tier. It's not quite C tier yet. It's got a niche. But is it better than ADV is my question.
I think it's slightly better than Advance because just Advance is kind of stinky. I mean, it's there, but it's fighting for a spot against Wurmple. While in Black and White, at least it has its own niche.
Yeah, like Black and White is a fully unique Pokemon. ADV, it struggles to really give itself a niche, even though it has it. So I think that's a good spot for Magikarp. Now, Oraz, the only change that came in Gen 6 was Spupa being added to the tier. Well, technically Scatterbug too, but Scatterbug's useless. And Spupa is just a power-crept Kakuna. Like, it has actual moves, and because it has Protect and all this other stuff, Magikarp is even more power-crept.
Yeah, I think just the introduction of Spupa alone knocks Magikarp down a ranking.
Yeah, like, it's C tier in Oraz. Like, because, like, its matchup spread is still pretty much the same, but it was already struggling in Gen 5. Just getting one new bad matchup is enough to make it worse, in my opinion.
It's not just a bad matchup, it's a bad matchup you'll be running to every single game.
Yeah, because Spupa is one of the best Pokemon in Gen 6 lol.
Yeah, I don't think we have much more to talk about in Gen 6.
Yeah, Gens 5 to 7 are pretty much the same. Gen 7 adds Cosmog and Cosmoem. Spoiler alert, they are completely useless, so this is just a repeat of the last generation. Gen 7 Magikarp is C tier.
Let's see, Gen 8.
Gen 8 is kind of a mess. There's a lot of weird things that are involved in it. The set is pretty simple. The main goal is to bounce. Bounce actually has a pretty solid niche because it prevents Applin from rollout sweeping, although Applin can just spam defense curl against it. So it's not like it's great. Bounce does well against Blipbug, which is important because Blipbug is one of the best Pokemon in the tier. However, because Bounce has 2-turn, it can abuse Recover well, which means that Magikarp doesn't win this matchup.
Yeah, say like maybe you can get lucky with the 30% paralysis, and then roll for some gain some few paralyzed turns.
Yeah, it's not like Magikarp can just spam Bounce against something that struggles against it, and then whatever switches in is still going to be taking a lot of damage. It's not like that anymore because Toxel is just a power-crept, fucking Dynamo. And then Snom doesn't like taking big bounces either. And I think that's the general gist of Magikarp in Gen 8. Magikarp in Gen 8 is a Pokemon that's kind of required because Cosmog is shit, Cosmoem is shit, and then Metapod is also shit.
Yeah, you're not going to be using Metapod or Caterpie, so it's like kind of the least stinky of what you have available.
So Magikarp's main role is just wait till Toxel is out and then try to do something with Bounce, which isn't a great role, but it's I think it's above C tier.
Yeah, I'd say B tier. I mean, it's better than the last 2 gens where it's kind of struggling.
Yeah, I still think it's worse than is it? Technically you need Magikarp in a team, so I think...
Yeah, I think it's better than Advanced, and then also better than, I think it's actually even better than Black White.
Yeah, I think it's better than Black and White by virtue of the fact that your options are so limited that you're going to be bringing Magikarp to every game in Gen 8. You don't really have options to replace it like you do in Gens 5 and in Gen 3. Actually, for that reason, I might, I'm gonna... off the cuff, I'm gonna create a new F tier. I'm gonna move down Gens 6 and 7 to D, and then move Gens 3 and 5 to C, because I think there's a clear difference in power between B and C tier at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like B tier it's not great, but you're still gonna bring it to every game anyway, and C tier is it's good enough, but you're not gonna bring it to every game. And then D tier is just you're outclassed. And then Gen 9 is interesting. This is the only LoL tier that I've never played a game of. So
you're an expert in it.
Obviously. I don't even have sets built for everything. Oh my god. That's horrible. Sunkern's back, Toxel still exists, Spupa is back, oh my god. Snom is here, and Toxel existing in its own makes, oh my god, I don't think we have an 11U list in the server yet. That's annoying. So I have an 11U document. So
yeah, what I'm seeing here though, like Magikarp is having a even less fun time than the last gen.
Yeah, it's struggling. It's struggling even harder because, like, Spupa is just gonna Iron Defense against it. I'm pretty sure it's got Iron Defense. Yeah, it does. Oh my god. And it has Protect.
Just because the other Pokemon actually have better things to be doing, I think you'll be struggling to find a reason to bring Magikarp.
Yeah. And, like, this might be an overreaction on my part, because it does have really solid matchups for dealing with for spamming Bounce.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it has really good Oh, but Dynamo exists now too, which means that Magikarp is now gonna be able to spam Bounce even less than it was before. And I don't know how much Dynamo is gonna be used. I think Dynamo is gonna be brought a decent amount because of the potential threat of Magikarp, which is something to worry about. I don't think it quite makes it F tier necessarily, but it's the worst Magikarp.
Yeah, I mean, it still needs to be explored a little bit. The metagame is still evolving. There may be some tier shifts, but yeah, I think it's still the worst gen yet for Magikarp, which is a shame.
Yeah. So, that was every generation of Magikarp.
And I'm surprised, though, that 9 generations later, Magikarp still, is still kicking it in lol tier, hasn't fallen.
Like, well, we have 3 D tiers, but it's not even like Magikarp's bad in those tiers. It's just that it's a lot harder to fit and that it doesn't do nearly as much as it did before. If this is more so a ranking that's comparing each different Magikarp as opposed to comparing it to other Pokemon within the tiers, Because if we did it that way, then my rankings would be a lot more generous than they are right now.
Yeah, no, Magikarp is a fun mon. I think it should be used more often. It's not as shit as people say it is.
Yeah.
As long as you're fighting Caterpies and Weedles.
And honestly, I think that's a really wholesome message to leave this video on. That, even if everyone says that you suck ass, as long as you put in the work, put in the effort, you can at least beat up a small school student.
God damn it. Well, this has been fun, Aiden. We need to do this again sometime.
We really do. I'm down to rank other Pokemon in LoL for the channel. And I think it'd be cool to also do scripted stuff in my channel too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. No, we need to collab more often. I said that weird. Yeah, plug your shit.
Absolutely. My name is Aiden. I have a YouTube channel called AIDS. I talk about competitive Pokemon there, along with other games that I find interesting. And I also have some other YouTube channels, a music channel, an anime channel, a channel where I just dump my 40-minute rants with friends too. And then you can also find me on... Wait, I don't really use... Oh yeah, right, the Patreon. Please give me money. Yeah, that's a thing. Links will be in the description if Filthy feels like it, but if not...
No, they'll be there. Okay. Give them money, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, I just had a good time being here. I didn't really know what to expect going into the collab other than the fact that I wanted to make it because I've been a fan of Cubone for a while. I find his stuff really funny. And I wanted to add in some of my own humor to the world through his channel. It's been an honor to be here. It's been a...
Oh no, it was great. I'm happy to have finally got around to doing this. We'll definitely have to do it again sometime soon.
Absolutely. What Pokemon do you want to do next?
Ooh. I think Sunkern may be interesting to look at because I think has like the lowest space stats total, but got banned out of some of the LoL tiers. I need to kind of look more into it to see what's going on, but I think Sunkern may be a fun one.
Yeah, alright. We can do Sunkern next then.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely get her done.
Yeah. And then as for other potential content ideas, we could probably do like full-on history lessons that are less casual than this too for some of these shitmons. Maybe even the Kiss X Sis review.
Oh yes! Like oh shit! Yeah, I need to do the the manga reviews. Yeah, just like this. Yeah, that anime and manga series is a kind of peak.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting watch. I've only seen like 5 episodes so far, but maybe I'll finish it.
Yeah, I mean, if you hate yourself enough.
Oh man. Yeah, maybe we. Oh yeah, right. I remember one of our first conversations for a collab was ranking hentai tags.
Oh fuck yeah, we maybe that may be a bonus video.
Maybe it'll be a bonus video. It'll be so fucking cursed. But basically, the future of collaborations is bright because.
Oh yes, no, we're going down the best timeline.
Absolutely. We both share basically the same sense of humor, and we also like talking about some of the same things in a jokey light. So this really was the match made in heaven.
Oh yes, or hell.
I'd say it's better in hell.
All right, well, this is Filthy. I'm signing off.
Yeah, signing off too. See you guys later.